Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining. How many people are here? I think about 50 people, which is fantastic. Really appreciate it. I think it's going to be a good session. Sorry, just give me, I'm just trying to see if I can do Instagram simultaneously to try and reach the maximum amount of people. And I think I might have figured it out. But let's see how it goes. This is the first one of these that I've done. I believe most people are here because you've taken the course, the recent course, the Bitcoin Playbook, which is brilliant. And I wanted to arrange this session for all of the questions that so many people have. I'm inundated and I'm delighted to be so. So I've got a list in front of me with all of the ones that people have been sending through. But I also want to give priority access to everybody that has managed to join live. So please do put them in the comments, or you can raise your hand if you would like to join me live and ask with your voice. I'll be looking out for that. And whilst there isn't any coming through, what I'll do is I'll work my way through the list that I have in front of me. And this list, honestly, it's 4 pages of A4 at the moment. I think we'll go for about 45 minutes and then do the same next week, because otherwise we're going to be here all night. And it probably, based on the questions I'm getting in, this will probably become a weekly session, at least over the next 6 months, I imagine. But let's see how we get on today first, and you can all give me some feedback hopefully afterwards. So let's get cracking. Thank you for starting the questions on. I'll give priority to Zoom as well over Instagram. Sorry, Instagram, but I will be checking Instagram as well. So Joe is asking, what are your thoughts on buying crypto on Revolut? And I have had this quite a few times, and I'll be honest, I don't know much about Revolut, so I don't have a lot to offer that conversation. However, I would be wary of one thing. The apps like that, I believe it's similar to PayPal and the Cash App and applications like that. And what they're doing, which is an issue, is that you can't move your crypto around. So you can buy it on there, you can sell it on there. But if you wanted to move it to a different wallet, like you wanted to move it to Coinbase or Binance or onto a hardware wallet, many of those apps are not letting you do that. And for me, that really means that you don't own the Bitcoin. Technically you do, but you can't ever move it. And you know what happens if something happens to PayPal, Venmo? You want that flexibility. They're part of the financial system. You may want to leave the financial system at some point. So I'd be very cautious. I'm not saying that that is the case with Revolut, but that's the sort of thing I would be looking at when deciding whether to buy on Revolut. As you know, my recommended exchanges are Coinbase, but more so Binance. I think Binance gives you everything that you need. Connor, what signals or indicators are you looking at to determine we're at the peak? I ask because the 2017 peak seemed to drop quickly about a month from the top in December. It definitely happened really quickly. So start to prepare yourself mentally to watch that unfold. We will hit a peak, and then in the next week to 2, you will see a capitulation down the other side. At some point, we've got to walk off the edge of the cliff. We are a long way from there at the moment. That's the most important point. But we do need that situational awareness to make sure that we know we're approaching the peak, if you're choosing to take some profits, which I believe most people will be. And there are multiple indicators. It's obviously not straightforward, otherwise everybody would do it. and everybody would time it absolutely perfectly. The main indicators that we're looking at are laid out in the course. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It's free. If you weren't sure about what I was talking about on the take profit strategy section, go watch it again. It is the more technical part. But the key indicators are, number one, price action. Looking back to 2017, as we approach that peak in late December, mid to late December, for the few weeks before, the price goes parabolic. Now, that's obviously that's a vague description, because some people would say, yeah, but the price has been going up loads already. But you will see, if you do look at the charts, which is what I'm doing, and then I'm going to pass it on to you, but if you want to assess it yourself as well, there's a big difference between what we've done over the past 6 months, which is like 10,000 to 40,000, and what happens in the last 2 weeks, or let's say the last month. And it's going to be something like 200,000 to 300,000 in 2 weeks, or maybe 300,000 to 400,000 in 2 weeks. There are levels to parabolic price movements, and we haven't seen anything yet. Trust me. What we've seen is we've been playing so far, but what we're going to see over the next 6 months is really going to blow some people's brains off, right? I'll be watching that. That's the key indicator. We're also looking at some charts, such as, they're in the course, the pi cycle formula, which is a bit technical, but on the past 2 cycles, it's given almost a perfect exit on the peak. Go have a look at that in the course. There's a couple more indicators as well. I'm essentially building a little dashboard, and when these lights start flashing amber, then that'll be the beginning of take profit strategy. I will be doing a lot more content over the next 3 or 4 months about take profit strategy. The module is in the course, and there's another layer of detail that I'm going to get into, and I'm going to release that to everybody that has already signed up for the course. And for most people, I believe the best strategy is going to be something like approximating when we're 6 weeks out, and then taking like 15% off the table every week. Trying to time it and do it in a wanna is too risky, not least because the exchanges are all going to go down. But yeah, averaging out, I believe, is going to be the best strategy for most people, plus leaving a bit on the table in case it blows past 1 million. Lee, what small market cap projects are you watching? I haven't been putting out a lot of content on tiny projects because, for the most part, you can't buy them on the exchanges that are recommended. They're mostly small Ethereum projects, the good ones that I like, and you buy them through Uniswap, which is another layer of detail. If anybody is really interested in really, really risky speculative cryptocurrencies, then have a look into getting a MetaMask wallet and trade on Uniswap. Just putting that out there for people who want to sort of follow that lead. And then within that space, there are literally thousands, if not tens of thousands of cryptos you can invest in. I'm looking at projects that are building on Polkadot. And some of the ones that I like are Robonomics, which is AI and robotics. Paid, which is insurance for smart contracts. Poker Markets is coming soon, which is sports betting and gambling. And what What was the other one I really like? Poker Starter, which is like crowdfunding, all built on Polkadot, all on the blockchain. There's some breadcrumbs for Lee and whoever else wants to get really, really exotic. Robinhood, Connor, thank you. Robinhood, you can't move it, but Cash App you can send. Yeah, exactly. So that's the level of detail you need to get to if you want to use some of these platforms, because I don't know all of them inside and out. I often get a message saying, hey, is it good to buy on here? Really make sure you do your own research if you're going to use a platform that's not Coinbase or Binance, because they're the only ones I can speak on with any authority. Lucy and Lloyd, when you see an altcoin go up a large percentage in a day and you are not invested in it, is it too late to invest? I'm conscious of FOMO, but I don't want to miss out. Great question. Happens to all of us. Either something you've been watching just explodes out of nowhere, or your friend messages you saying, hey, I'm in this and it's gone up 50%. Today it's Kusama, for example, one of my favorite projects. You can get it on Binance. I think it's up nearly 50% today. What's going to happen this year? What is happening? It's like whack-a-mole, when you're trying to get it and then another one keeps popping up. This market, this crypto market, is getting euphoric. Like I said, though, we're just getting started. They all work around the Bitcoin price. So when Bitcoin's pushing on to 70, 80,000, they're going to go to a whole new level of mania around crypto. So you're going to see it left, right, and center. So it's a very important question. Certainly in an ideal world, you'll buy it before it goes up, right? So, but in this ideal world, you've missed out. Not ideal world. I'd put it, the two ways of looking at it. One, technically, if you were doing things by the book and you see it up 50% in a day, most traders, investors would say leave it. Don't FOMO. There is another side to the coin, which is just, if you believe that that project is going to be a lot higher in September, which the majority will be, the majority of good projects will be, even if they've gone up 50% today, they're probably going to go up 10 times in the next 6 months, right? So there's still a lot more to run. So look, if you love that project, you just missed out on that first pump, but you want it. As long as you have that time preference of August, September, and as long as you're comfortable buying it, and you did get the local top, as it's called, and it goes down 30% the next day, just be comfortable holding, knowing that by August, September, it's going to be much higher, hopefully. Robinhood crypto assets are not insured by SIPC. I don't think we can get Robinhood in the UK yet, because I was on the wait list, and I believe with all of the drama, they have delayed the UK launch, but it's good to know. It's a good point. Check if it's insured. I don't know. My preference is to not be dependent on the financial system, I guess. I don't check if stuff is insured. I just look at if I'm comfortable using that platform. And you have to be comfortable in this market. It's still a very immature market. There are definitely scams out there, definitely platforms that are not secure. And that's why, even though they're not the cheapest, especially Coinbase, I just tell people to stick to Coinbase and Binance. Nice to have you, Pete. Thanks for joining. Can I please discuss Ethereum and Chainlink? Discuss. They're my two favorite projects, with Polkadot and outside of Bitcoin, of course. And I think they're going to go up loads. Let me know what you want to know exactly. Can you explain crypto and taxation in the UK, what the current situation is and what do you expect it to look like in the future? There's a module on the course about tax, focused on the UK, because that's all I know about. Situation is, any transaction is, you need to pay capital gains tax on the transaction. And the only thing I can add to that, which is not in the course really, is that there are rumours that the UK is going to significantly increase capital gains tax. Rumours. I believe, you know, it would be for the rumours are it'll be for the next tax year, so that we'll find out in March and it'll go live in April. That's from a trusted source. However, who knows? Who knows? The government can just print as much money as they want anyway, so I don't know why they would want to do that. Katya would like to ask me live, which is great. Let me see if I can get you.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Hi, nice to see your face.
Hello. So I have a question, re stable coins. You mentioned in the course that they're linked to fiat currencies. And I was just wondering, so if we take profits and put them into stable coins and leave the profits there until we want to reinvest again, if it's linked to fiat currency, it will be linked to inflation, won't it? So I know you mentioned things like Pax Gold as options, and I mean, maybe it's stating the obvious, but that really seems the only real option if you're going to be holding it for a few years.
There are 3 main stable coins at the moment that I know of. USDT, which is USD Tether, USDC, which is USD Coinbase, DAI, Maker DAI. They're all backed 1-to-1 by the dollar. So if you have 10 DAI, you have $10 worth, and it will stay at that ratio, which means absolutely as soon as you move into that stable coin, the value of that is being debased at 10% per year. So you might be asking, like, then why? Like, why would you use them? The main reason would be if your desire was to stay in crypto world and not go back to banking world. So you keep it all on your wallets or exchanges. It's there ready to invest in other cryptos when you're ready. And that's a decent strategy. So for example, if you just focus on Bitcoin and you're like, look, I want to take some profit off the table around the peak, but I don't want to I want to stay in the crypto world, then you can go into USDT or USDC or DAI for 6 months. You know, you'd probably hit with 5% inflation over that time, but you're protecting yourself against the 80% Bitcoin drop. So it's a good strategy. And another strategy which you hinted at is trying to find cryptos which are going to be immune from the crash, which is at the moment the primary candidate is Pax Gold, because that is backed by gold. So if you believe that gold is not correlated to Bitcoin, which I don't believe it is, and therefore won't crash, and hopefully will go up, hopefully more than inflation, then that does sound like a really good strategy and something that I'm looking at very, very closely. I'm also expecting to see similar asset-backed cryptos coming onto the market. I haven't done loads and loads of research because I'm doing that next, and that's one of the reasons why I say I'm going to do more content around it. But I would expect to see a silver-backed crypto, a platinum-backed crypto. Maybe there's going to be crypto backed by real estate. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. It's just down to the companies and the developers, and just bringing them to market.
Right, right. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thanks for your question. Katie, I've asked to unmute you. You should be able to come on now.
Am I unmuted?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Hi.
Hey.
Massive thank you for doing this. First of all, you've sent me down a huge rabbit hole of research and YouTube since I did your course, and it's fascinating. I've actually got 3 questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the first one is the amount of risk of leaving my crypto on an exchange.
Yeah.
Because what I have it on Revolut. Revolut was the only one that I could get on quickly.
Yeah.
And I want to know what the risk is. I understand I don't own the Bitcoin when you're on Revolut. What I like about Revolut is I have immediate access to my money just in case anything happened and I need to get my money out. So I like to be able to monitor it really closely so I can see exactly what's going on with my investment. So I like those 2 things about Revolut, but I don't want to leave it on there if it is at high risk of getting hacked.
So I can't, I can't speak about Revolut specifically. You probably know more about it than me. You said maybe you don't own your crypto. I wouldn't like to not own my crypto, but right. check if you own the underlying Bitcoin. That was really, really important. What was the question? Sorry, I missed the question.
Sorry. So I want to know, like, what is the risk of Revolut getting hacked, of Binance getting hacked, of Coinbase getting hacked? What's the risk?
Many exchanges have been hacked in the past. Some very, very infamous ones, such as Mt. Gox. Okay. And even some over the past few years. But the industry has moved on a lot. Okay. Coinbase is about to do their IPO, which is massive. And Binance is actually the biggest exchange in the world by volume. So they are not in the business of getting hacked. They are huge, huge businesses. It's usually your left field exchange that operates in some far side of the world who don't have those security layers. And talking about Coinbase and Binance, you can turn on various security features, which means that if you get hacked, they can't take it anyway. If you've got your two-factor authentication on, they would need your phone as well.
Right, okay.
And if you've got whitelist turned on, then they can only withdraw the cryptos to an address that you specified in advance. So if you have these features turned on, you're risk-free. You're risk-free. And this is why I recommend, I know there's a few questions about it. This is why I say to most people, although it's not the textbook answer, the industry answer is not your keys, not your crypto, which means don't hold it on an exchange. But I say to most people that follow me, I know that most people who follow me are quite new to the game as well. You're probably better off. I'm not liable if it gets hacked, right? But you're probably better off keeping it on Coinbase and Binance, so you don't go through the rigmarole of trying to learn how to do hardware wallets and storing keys and all that stuff, which is a whole layer of detail.
Yeah, that's an attractive point about Revolut. Like, I don't have to worry about having a cold wallet and storing it and losing my, printing out my paper wallet and losing it, or I don't have that responsibility.
It's on Coinbase and Binance, but I think you were saying that you found it hard to set up accounts, which does happen.
I just took ages to get my identity confirmed, so I just went with Revolut because I was really feeling like if I didn't get my money in, I was going to miss out. So, and I did miss the Elon Musk. I did it the next day. So, I missed that massive Elon Musk spike. So anyway, I won't talk about that. My next question is, I want to understand the difference between a coin and a token. So it seems to me that Bitcoin is like money. It's not a company. There's no headquarters. You don't have to pay staff. There's no marketing. it's like a thing, it's like a money currency, and then you've got like tokens, which is like a share in a crypto, and it's like a technology, and you've got a CEO, and so a token is a value, because they're all called cryptocurrencies, but they're not actually currencies, are they?
No, a lot of these terms are used interchangeably, so it can get
Right.
the way I separate it out is there are cryptocurrencies, they're trying to replace currency in digital form. Bitcoin was the daddy, the original. There are others, such as, for example, Monero, which is focused on privacy, but it's a currency.
These are other, I want to know, what are the other actual currencies like Bitcoin?
Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, don't do that. And there are some others, right? So it's about use case. They're trying to replace currency, and it's a bit of a matrix. So there are also various levels of decentralization. Bitcoin is the most decentralized because there is no company, there's no founder.
Yeah,
he disappeared. It's owned by the people, by the network. There are some currencies that are not so decentralized because it's a company who are bringing it to market, and they do. I'm saying this because she said, yeah, they have to pay staff and office and that stuff.
I'm thinking about Ripple. That's by Ripple.
Yeah,
it's not a currency, is it? It's a share in a company that you bought an XRP, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So basically, all cryptos apart from Bitcoin,
yes,
have some central party because they
okay,
were market by a person or company. It was the same with Bitcoin, but he literally gave it and then disappeared. Satoshi Nakamoto, right? So it's now fully owned by the network. A lot of these other cryptos are trying to become decentralized, but they're also building big use cases as well. Bitcoin is the most incredible innovation of our time. But it's also quite simple. It's just peer-to-peer. He wrote the code and gave it to the world. A lot of these other companies are also building various different use cases, and therefore they've got developers, they've got various costs, they've got to keep the lights on, and they often sell their tokens, those, to fund that business venture. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. One of my favorite cryptos is Chainlink. They're a big organization because they're trying to do big things. They're constantly developing, and they do sell Chainlink into the market to fund their growth. But
you've bought a share. When you buy Link and when you buy Dot, you're basically buying a share in a business. You're not buying currency. You're not buying,
now, right? It depends. A lot of these cryptos have also their tokens. Use token and crypto interchangeably, right? The thing that you invest in. That token can have different, what would they call it? Like different functionality. So some of them are governance tokens, and that means if you own it, you get to vote on what they do next, what features they bring to market.
Right.
A lot of them do that, right? Some of them, the tokens are used as sort of payment for the network. That would be something like Chainlink or Ethereum. And some of them are pure payments like Bitcoin. So they all have different use cases. And that's about doing that next level of research. If you do want to invest in it, that's why I say do a bit of research before, because it's all there on the website, and they try and make it simple because they want people to buy it.
Yeah. Okay. Just maybe don't get sucked in by their amazing marketing department that makes it sound amazing.
Yeah. There's a few like that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And my last question is about exit strategy. So I heard I saw a YouTube video about one strategy is to take money out incrementally on the way up, and actually incrementally on the way down after the peak. So then you're kind of averaging it all. What would you say about that?
That is what I'm going to do the next round of content on. Okay. It's also, it's not easy, of course, right? Because we've got a target of around September, and we'll continue to refine that. but at some point you're going to have to start that strategy. Let's say it's 6 weeks out, but you're doing it based on an estimate, and you don't know the peak is going to be exactly where you think it's going to be. So I'll be coming forth with some strategies like what you just talked about, and you know, in some sort of range of how risky they are. Because look, you could start now, bring in 1% off the table every week. No, that won't work. So you know what I mean, 2%, 3% a week, right? That would be the least risky. And then it's how close to the edge of the cliff do you want to walk?
Well, it sounds like if you kind of take out on the way up and you take out on the way down, that's kind of like the most fair way of doing it, or like the most yeah, you're not just kind of waiting for the peak and then to fall off a precipice. You're actually going to take it out on the way down as well. So it averages out.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really good strategy.
Okay, great.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have any more hands? If not, I'll get back to the chat. Let's see where we were. Where do you store your crypto? Wazzy talked a little bit about that. I won't tell you exactly where I store mine. That might be a security risk. But we've talked about it really. It's exchange versus hardware wallet. Crypto maximalists would say get it off exchange, get it onto hardware wallets like Trezor and Ledger Nano. There's a layer of security, there's a layer of complexity to doing that, which I think for a lot of, not saying everybody, but there are many people I know that are getting into crypto that if they even thought about doing that bit, it kind of turned them off the whole thing. And therefore I'm just putting out there as if you want it, it's there. I've done a short video on the course, Trezor, Ledger Nano. If you are technically inclined, it's not super difficult. But if you're not, Binance, Coinbase, or other, and turn on all the security features. Cat Poker Starter, yes, it's one of my favorite up and coming Polkadot projects. It's live. It's crowdfunding for new Polkadot based projects, and they're already raising a lot of money on there. That's a governance token. So if you buy Poker Starter tokens, you're essentially part of it's decentralized management team, and you vote on on what they're going to do next. It's really cool. David, thank you. What's my view on eToro? eToro is kind of the backup for me if people can't get on Binance first, Coinbase second. If I have to send them somewhere else, then I send them to eToro. Why is it number 3? The spreads are really wide, the difference between buying and selling. So people get drawn in by free transactions, but it's a lot more expensive overall than Binance. Probably similar to Coinbase, which is really expensive. And the user interface is a bit strange, actually, to me. Leverage is right there for everybody, really easily accessible, and it's very risky. So I don't recommend it as a number 1 pick. Dominique, do I think Aave is worth investing in? I love Aave. I don't hold it because you just can't hold everything. But if I could own more, then Aave would be on that list. Because it's a real project, it's live. I was on the website the other day. I think it's lending and borrowing, and they currently have locked up $5 billion worth of assets, which is incredible. Something that's been around for longer is Compound, and is currently cheaper, and they have $8 billion locked up. So have a look at Compound as well. Now the institutions, Patricia, have bought into Bitcoin, do you think the price will correct to the same degree it has in the past? This is something that a lot of people are thinking, and something I've been thinking about as well. Obviously, we don't know for certain. Blue light blockers. We don't know for certain, so we can only hypothesize at this point. And the more I think about it, the more I think that we're still going to see an 80% drop. I've been back and forth on this. You've got Tesla and MicroStrategy, and now so many other institutions are going to come in and buy. So one theory that people are throwing out is that this is going to put some sort of floor underneath the price. So if we get up to, let's say, 300,000, if we were due to drop 80%, that would be down to 60,000. But maybe because of all these institutions buying in at 60, 70, 80,000, 90, 100,000, maybe it puts a price at like a floor at like $100,000. It's possible. Maybe it's only a 60% drop. I do think we're going to get the drop. I'm leaning towards that it's not actually going to make a difference, and we're still going to see our 80% drop. And the reason why is because all of this is relative. So now we're trading at just under $50,000. What price is it? $48,500. And you've got all the institutions rushing in. In relative terms, it's just the same as the past cycle where Bitcoin was trading at $3,000, $4,000 and high net worth individuals were rushing in. I've said all along that this cycle is going to be about institutional buying. That's exactly what's happening. And there is a floor being put under the price somewhat, but I believe that floor is the minus 80%. Just like in the last cycle, the floor was the minus 80%, because of course there are many people that won't sell, but for the price to go up to $300,000, then you still, if you get a good percentage, behavioral dynamics still play out. We're still going to see a crash. We're still going to see mass panic selling, because that's what happens at the end of a bubble, and we are going into a bubble, not quite yet. And the vast majority of retail investors will sell, even if they say right now they're not going to. There will be the hodlers, but they've always been there. They put the price under it at 1,000, 2,000, so that doesn't make much difference. And there will be hodlers, on the institutional level, but they're in relative terms, they're just the same as the hodlers in the last cycle. So it will mean the price goes to 60,000 or 70,000 rather than before it went to what do you go to 1,000, 2,000. So it's all relative. And I was talking around that quite a bit. The beauty is that the market will show us. That's what I love about this game. And we can't say for certain. At the moment, I'm leaning towards the cycle playing out exactly as expected, in terms of a massive run up and then a big crash. What I do think is happening is that we're breaking to the upside for the peak. I predicted 296,000. If you look on the cycle repeat graph, which I'll post, it's currently suggesting that we go into $779,000. Oh, that was private. And the reason is that we're going up sharper. And why we're going up sharper, I believe it's because of the easy monetary policy from central banks, the money printing that is happening. The money printing was happening in 2013 and not so much in 2017. So I believe we're seeing something similar to 2013. And what that means in terms of price is that my price prediction gets blown out the water. Because my price prediction was based on the last cycle, but the one before it went up a lot more dramatically. Is $1 million Bitcoin on the table for this cycle? It's on the table. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm also not going to be shocked if it does. I'm not going to be shocked if we get to like 500,000, 600,000, 700,000. That's the current trajectory. So let's see. Let's see what happens. These are really great questions. I realize it's 6:45 already. I feel like we'll be going for 5 minutes. I would like to try and get through all the questions in the chat, and there's some on Instagram as well. Joe, if you could either buy Chainlink or Polkadot, which one would you go for? That's like trying to pick between your son and your daughter. I mean, I don't know why you would make me do that, and I can't. I live them both infinitely, and I would buy both. If I had one investment to make, I'd cut it in half and buy both. Jasmine, love that you're doing this vid, thank you. When did you start investing in Bitcoin? And what was it that sparked your interest in it at a time when most people didn't know much about it? So being very open, really late actually. I've been looking at it for years, like most people, like in my periphery, but like most of us, being very busy, running a business, all that stuff. And I made my first investments in like summer of 2019, but it was very much, I didn't know what I was doing. I hadn't done the work. So it was just like, I've tried to buy it a few times. If you think Binance is difficult, then trying to do it in 2018 was like, you know, next level difficult. So finally, 2019, I did it on eToro because eToro is a bit simpler. But I didn't know what I was doing. Literally, I think I did it wrong. I think I didn't even buy the Bitcoin. I think I bought a CFD, which is like a just tracks the price. And immediately the price went down like 40%. There was like a mini peak in 2019, and I got it right at the peak, and then it went down. And like a lot of people now, I was like, oh, Bitcoin's a scam, you know, because I hadn't done the work. I was gambling, and then, but I've always been fascinated in economics. When the pandemic hit, the whole world collapsed, and we went into lockdowns, I just went really. I feel like I did a PhD on economics leading into crypto, and have spent thousands and thousands of hours over the past year. Who knows how many hours? Like 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. And as soon as I started, I went down the rabbit hole deep, and then I started to put just a few things out on social media, and there was all this interest from people on investing in general in crypto. And I was like, I see it. I understand right now what's happening with debasing currency, all these lockdowns, unemployment, etc., etc. And I can see what the answer is. And then, which is that we need to get out of the financial system and be decentralized and use a real store of value where it's transparent and we understand what the supply is, 21 million. And then I started to learn about the Bitcoin cycle, which was like the icing on the cake. And all of that combined, I feel like I've found my sweet spot, which is really nice as like a profession. But now I want to help as many people as possible to navigate this cycle, and then hopefully the next cycle, because It's really, this could be a once in a lifetime opportunity, considering what I just said about what central banks are doing. I think this cycle might be explosive. And then we may go into, I believe cycles will continue, but they may not be as explosive. So in terms of just capital gains, I think there's a huge opportunity. And I think everybody's really disillusioned and frustrated with the current system right now as well. So it's like a melting pot, which is drawing all kinds of people into crypto, which I think is amazing to see. Price projections for Ethereum and Chainlink. Like I said in one of my videos, anybody that tries to predict any altcoin price is guessing, even if they show you some fancy graphs. But I did do a guess, like a fun YOLO guess for both of them on that video. And Ethereum was $14,000, Chainlink was $320. Now that was done about a month ago. And just like with Bitcoin, I think looks like we're shooting to the upside. So my guesses are just based around, we can do very, very good projections for Bitcoin, which is basically what the course is. But off the back of that, we can use the multiple of how many times we think Bitcoin is going to go up. And then we can apply that to the altcoins and add a bit on, because altcoins outperform Bitcoin during the bull market. That's what happens. It's what you're going to see. Doesn't mean you should all be in altcoins because they're risky. But if you pick the good ones, they will go up more than Bitcoin this year. So if Bitcoin's going to go up, at that point, I think Bitcoin, I thought was going to go up 7.5 times. So I did look, maybe Ethereum goes up 10 times and Chainlink goes up 15 times. And that's how we got to those predictions. But I think they're all very conservative at the moment. Is it true that Bitcoin technology is outdated and other digital currencies are more evolved? Yes and no. Yes, Bitcoin you could describe it as slow because it can take up to 10 minutes, but don't be fooled by the marketing and the buzzwords. What really makes Bitcoin valuable is the adoption. It's a decentralized payment network, but it's the adoption. That's why the dollar's been so strong, because it's the global reserve currency. Bitcoin is, let's call it the crypto reserve currency. There's nothing anywhere near it in terms of adoption. And it's got such a head start. That's why Tesla are buying it. That's why MicroStrategy bought $1.5 billion. If another cryptocurrency is quicker, it doesn't mean it's better. It's about store of value for these cryptos. And Bitcoin is showing itself over 12 years to be an incredible store of value. A lot of these other cryptos have been around for 2 years. Okay, they've got better technology, but who's using it? You need to know who's using it. If people start using it, okay, that's different. But you need to see some level of adoption. If Tesla go and buy your other cryptocurrency that you're thinking of buying, that's a good sign. That's signal for sure. But they're not, they're buying Bitcoin. Everybody's buying Bitcoin. So don't try and invest in pets.com because it's got a nice website when you can invest in Amazon. Careful of the noise. Damian, have you got any experience or thoughts on leverage ETH through DeFi? I don't understand all of the question. Leverage, I understand. You know, it's essentially borrowing and using somebody else's money to make higher returns, you know, whether that's eToro or Binance. And I would suggest that any newbie completely avoids it. It's risky. You can blow up your account, take on leverage, and then the market drops 40% and you could see all of your assets wiped out. So I would only use leverage if you are an experienced investor. Let me know if that answered your question. crypto.com I've only heard bad things about crypto.com. I'm just being open with that because so many people message me saying they're using crypto.com, and I don't know why. Is it because it's got the domain name crypto.com and they've got good Facebook ads? They're always showing up on my social media. But again, just be careful, do those checks, figure out if it works for you, if it's secure, read the reviews. I've heard some bad things, but I don't have experience with it. Would you advise a Coinbase wallet? Are you transferring from the exchange to your wallet? I think we talked about that. Coinbase wallet is hosted on Coinbase. If you buy Bitcoin, it goes into your Coinbase wallet. Full stop. I would recommend transferring it from the exchange to a hardware wallet if you're very, very concerned about security and you're comfortable with buying a hardware wallet, setting it up and moving stuff over. Do you use BlockFi? I don't, but that is something that's got a great reputation, and it's definitely something I'll be looking at in the future. Celsius, Wazi, I believe it's also got a good reputation, but I haven't used it. BlockFi and Celsius, what they will probably be good for some people on here to start thinking about is if we take some profits and then we start to buy back in, let's say mid 2022, end of 2022, then BlockFi and Celsius give you really good interest rates against the crypto that you're holding on there. And that's what most people use BlockFi and Celsius for. So for example, you could start buying Bitcoin on BlockFi or Celsius over a year as we reach some sort of bottom. And then you're earning, I think it's like 8% a year on that Bitcoin as well, which will be a really good strategy going up to the 2025 peak, because you'll be thinking about where you want to put your Bitcoin for 3 years or so, right? If you start buying mid 22, end of 22. So if you're buying it somewhere that's giving you a really good interest rate as well, then it's a win-win. Would it be sensible to hold crypto on several different trusted platforms? I do think that is it's sensible. Yeah, it is sensible. But like I said, I know Coinbase and Binance, BlockFi and Celsius have good reputations as well. So how many trusted platforms are there? What do you think is going to be the next Invest Oracle? I will repeat what I said about Binance and other cryptocurrencies that are trying to do payments. Why invest in an Oracle when you can buy Chainlink? Don't be looking for the next when there's already a market leader which are doing incredible work, and it's less risk, of course. Chainlink has got huge gains in it. Look at what it did in summer last year. It's just getting started. I think Chainlink will be the top performing crypto out of sort of the top 20 or 30 between now and September. So I don't know really the other oracles because Chainlink's my baby and it does all of the things and it's doing amazing work. Sam, how much of the investment in pounds would you say is safe to keep on exchange? It's not really about the pound amount. It's not at all. If you're worried about it getting hacked, then it could get hacked if you have £10 or 10 million. So that's really just a personal, how do you feel safe sleeping at night? I think Coinbase and Binance are safe. Given its larger number of use cases, do you think Ether will ever have a larger market cap than Bitcoin? There's something called the flippening, which nearly happened in 2017, which is when the market cap, the value of Ethereum almost passed Bitcoin, and everybody was really hyped about it, and then it never happened. And I do think it will happen. I do, because if I envision the future, I see Ethereum as being really the base layer for the new crypto world. So much is being built on Ethereum, or if it's being built elsewhere, they're making sure it's bridged or interoperable with Ethereum. I believe Ethereum is going to be essentially the new internet, and that's amazing, right? So they're both going to be massive. You got digital gold, and you basically got the new internet. That's the way I see things. I do think Ethereum will eventually flip Bitcoin, but it won't be a problem. It won't be to do with anything wrong with Bitcoin. It would just be that Ethereum is becoming that layer for the whole world, really, of crypto application. Thanks, Lee. Martin, someone introduced me to Cash FX. I don't know it, mate. I don't know. Kat, how would BTC deal with fee of buying chewing gum if it became currency? Really good question. Probably not really an expert in that area, I would say. It is what they're trying to solve with Lightning Network and similar layer 2 applications. I guess my very simplistic way of looking at it is that Bitcoin is currently eating the world, which is amazing. It's counterbalancing everything that's happening in the world. And that is bringing so much investment into the crypto space that innovation and technology will take over. So Bitcoin is going to become $1 trillion market cap, and then some. All the institutions are going to own it. All the people are going to own it. So tech and innovation will ensure that there are ways for it to make the next step, which is to flip from a store of value into a medium of exchange. You probably saw Tesla are going to start accepting its payments. Obviously, that's much bigger ticket prices, but I would think that amazing. Remember, the smartest brains in the world are working in crypto because it's the hottest space. So it will be solved, but I don't know how. I'm not technical enough. Are the altcoins expected to crash simultaneously with Bitcoin? Yes. Last time it was 2 weeks after. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how it aligns this time. But from a take profit strategy, I'll be recommending that you group them because altcoins are very volatile. So even if it's 2 weeks after, and you miss out on some of the last gains, I think to take away that risk of these altcoins, which are extremely risky, then you do it simultaneously to Bitcoin. Quickly, I think there was a few on Instagram, and then we'll drop off. Is it easy to switch from Coinbase to Binance? It is easy, yeah, because you can simply transfer your holdings from one wallet to the other. Your Coinbase wallet has an address, your Binance wallet has an address. Go in Coinbase, click withdraw Bitcoin, put in your Binance Bitcoin address and send, and it's over. But don't think that you have to be on one platform. If you've bought some on Coinbase and now you want to start on Binance, then just start on Binance and hold some on Coinbase. There's no problem. It won't let me transfer money to Bitcoin, even though I've got money in the account now. I'm not sure. Gemery. Gemery, you'll have to message me because I'm not really sure what that means. Send me a screenshot. Coinbase is shy. Yeah, I would tend to agree. It doesn't mean that it's not usable though. Some people do find it easier. So it's got the simplest user interface and the simplest app. Sam, ADA use some price prediction by September. I got absolutely destroyed in the comments for my Cardano video on Friday or Saturday. But the comments really confirmed to me my suspicion that Cardano followers are a bit of a cult and don't like to hear the other side. I'm not seeing that it has much use at the moment. Maybe that will change. Somebody did say in the comments, which I haven't investigated yet, that Celsius was moving to Cardano. I have not verified that. That's the sort of thing which would make me change my mind. So maybe my mind will be changed. But at the moment, it seems like a great marketing campaign. I'm glad you asked price prediction. I think the price will go up loads because it's got great marketing. We're in crypto bull market. So I think the price will go up loads. But I personally choose to invest in projects that I think are doing something and meaningful, have really, really great partnerships, have a great team. The founder of Bitcoin, of Cardano, has got a bit of a dodgy reputation. So, you know, if you can only invest in a certain amount of cryptos, and, you know, there needs to be ways to filter them. How safe is Binance? You know, especially if you turn on your security features, your two-factor authentication, and the whitelist, which means they can only send it to any address that you've already verified on there. Then even if it got hacked, and I don't think it's getting hacked because that would be really bad for their business, then they wouldn't be able to do anything with your crypto as well anyway. So really, what is your risk? It's probably that the company goes bankrupt and disappears or steals from you, which again is not what they're trying to achieve. They're the biggest exchange in the world. So I think it's safe. Do you know anything about Nexo platform? Is it reliable? I don't know anything about Nexo, so I can't comment on it. Hello? How long do I have to wait until I'm allowed to invest in Bitcoin? I'll allow you to invest in Bitcoin. Maybe you're saying you're too young? There was a question, but I haven't even touched my Word document of questions, by the way, so that will be next week. Somebody did say, can I invest in Bitcoin if I'm 15? And I did look it up quickly. It's not illegal, but it's just that the exchanges won't let you. So you get your parents or friend who's over 18 to do it for you. Any thoughts on Strax? Don't know it. GK, don't know it. There are so many cryptos and they're popping up left, right, and center. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin SV? Somebody submitted this beforehand as well. That's Bitcoin Cash. My thoughts are to avoid it at all costs. The market showed who was the winner. Bitcoin Cash spun off from Bitcoin because they said they were going to be better. And like I said in the answer before, the proof in the pudding is the adoption. Let's call it original Bitcoin has won, hands down. So I wouldn't be trying to invest in something which has lost, really. Predictions for BNB. What's BNB? That's Binance coin, isn't it? Don't know. It'll probably go up loads because I'm sure, because Binance are very good at marketing as well. What are your thoughts on Bitstamp? I don't know it, so I can't comment. Will you be posting this? Yes, I will, on my YouTube channel. How much would? And then that's the end of the question. So I don't know how to answer that one. When it comes to selling Bitcoin, you recommend selling 80% and holding 20% back. Would you recommend the same for alts? Really important question. That 80-20 is up to you. I'd recommend holding some back for escape velocity. What's escape velocity? If Bitcoin, let's say we get to 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, and it's profit taking time, and then the central bank of Switzerland say that they're buying Bitcoin, right? There's something that could break the model completely to the upside, where Bitcoin becomes the global reserve currency, essentially. Whatever likelihood you place on that, I'll say 10% for now, would be a sensible amount to leave in Bitcoin. So you're not a no coiner anymore, which would be a risky place to be, in my opinion. Sorry, the question was, would you do the same for altcoins? No, I wouldn't. I'd be taking everything off the table with altcoins. The exception might be Ethereum, because it's so big and amazing. But altcoins crash hard. Like, if you think 80% in Bitcoin is a lot, and it is a lot, most of the cryptos will go down 95 to 99%. Some of them will just go out of existence completely. I'm sure Ethereum won't. I'm sure Chainlink, Polkadot, Cardano won't. But they will crash really, really hard, because they will crash harder than Bitcoin. So maybe you do the same with Ethereum, but if you're in anything else, I don't think it's sensible. Where's the best place for a novice to start with buying crypto? For a novice to start is to watch my course, and the link is in Instagram bio, and then that shows you how to start buying. How long time-wise would you recommend holding? That's in the course as well. The course is all around the Bitcoin cycle, which is the fundamental framework that everybody needs to get really, really comfortable with if they're holding Bitcoin. And it's not complicated. At least I think I've broken it down in the course in very simple terms. You know, I know everybody is FOMOing into crypto right now, which is not a bad thing, right? You come in for the gains and you stay when you realize how incredible the movement is. Just set aside the time to go and watch the course, because it's free. I think you can probably do it in a day if you knocked it out, and then it'll give you the basics that you need to know to understand and answer the questions like, how long are we holding for? Damian, taking a loan in DAI using my ETH as collateral to buy more ETH, asking if you may have done it. I may have done it. Yeah, I may. Can't say for sure. But hypothetically, if you're taking a loan in fiat, which is what DAI is, it's backed one-to-one to buy crypto, that seems to me at the moment like a good trade. That means you're selling fiat currency to buy crypto. But novices shouldn't be leveraging themselves, shouldn't be taking loans to buy crypto. So it's if you have that level of experience and comfort and financial backing, right, to be comfortable doing that sort of trade. Pete, is there an ETF which approximates to Bitcoin? The UK is trying to regulate them out of existence. There has been a few, but the FCA are making it really difficult, which is quite a good thing, because it makes you buy your own crypto, which is what you should be doing. If you don't own it, you get an ETF with one of the big financial institutions. They've shown time and time again that they're not acting in your best interest. So you're trusting that third party, and you don't own the Bitcoin. Seems like a recipe for disaster. Bitcoin does have a symbol. It's BTC. Do we really need to worry about tainted coins that have been used for bad things? Is there some risk there? No. I assume you're thinking like, if somebody buys loads of cocaine with pounds, and then you end up having those pound notes, it's not your fault, is it? And it's just a circulation of currency. So no, I don't think you've got anything to worry about there. It's all, the ledger is transparent. So you'll be able to, if there was some investigation into this Bitcoin, then they can see when it went into your possession. So I wouldn't worry about that. And I also wouldn't worry too much about crypto being used for bad things, because 99% of crime is committed in fiat currency. Amazing job on the course. Thank you so much. That is all the questions. So I'm conscious of time, 7:15, an hour and a quarter. Hope it was useful and interesting. And that I'll jump on again the same time next week, because I have another 4 pages of questions to go through. And I'll be posting it on YouTube. So if you missed it, or if you missed some of it, then you can catch up. I wishing you all a lovely evening. Thank you. Take care. It was great questions, absolutely. What are we going to do when we celebrate, when we all make it? I think at some point we do need to talk about a post-cycle peak party. Maybe in early summer, let's start talking about that. Getting drunk on Zoom, how amazing would it be if it was in person though? Let's see. No dressing down today, no. It'll be on after this. Party, yeah, absolutely. We should all have plenty of funds as well to contribute. So if we pool it, then we can throw the greatest party of all time. DJ, drinks, maybe some breath work, cacao ceremony. Let's manifest an amazing outdoor party. Outdoor? No, it might be a bit late for that. October, November. All right, I'm going to close the rooms. Thank you, everybody. See you later.